Hey, Ilaria, thank you very much. So please also give a big round of applause for Ilaria Severi.
Thank you. I already have my microphone.
Oh, yeah, okay, great.
Does it work?
You can try.
Yeah? Maybe I'm luckier? No? I don't know. Well, I'll start. So, how's everybody doing tonight?
Yeah. Okay.
Great? Awesome. Then, I'm very excited to be here. I actually want to thank the guys. Yeah? So, magic will happen somehow. I want to thank PR Lab and Growth Hacker for inviting me tonight. It's a pleasure for me to talk about what I work on every day and what I actually enjoy doing, because influencer marketing is a very interesting channel. So I decided to base this presentation on something that I'm often asked by brands. So basically, okay, amazing. You have 10,000 pieces of content and good engagement and awareness, but where are the sales? Did I actually sell my product? How do I know that? So my question in this case would be the brand question. So can influencer marketing impact the purchase funnel? And I will give an answer to that. Before, I would like to move to the next slide. Thank you. So my name is Ilaria Severi. I'm originally from Italy, and I moved to the Netherlands almost 3 years ago. August will be my third official year. I studied in Rotterdam. I took my master there, and then I moved to Amsterdam to work at TheCirqle. And actually, I know that there are some monks here, for media monks. I did my internship there, so woo! I've been working then for TheCirqle for almost 2 years, and it's been a pleasure for me because since then, well, I've grown myself professionally from a junior campaign manager to a senior campaign manager, but also I've seen the growth of the company. So the company started in 2015, and well, nowadays it started with 5 people, and now we have 30 employees all over the world, literally, because we manage campaign in Asia, UK, Europe, Latin America, and US. Well, numbers of our revenue shows that we have grown and we are continuously growing, which is great. And we can count on a network of over 50,000 influencers. And I've had the pleasure to work with some of the Fortune 500 companies, such as Procter & Gamble, McDonald's, Samsung, and so on. So before diving into the purchase funnel, I would like to mention a few stats and results, which actually is something that I saw Pascal already showed you, but I'm going to refresh your mind in case you forgot. Yes, thank you. So these are important facts to keep in mind, to consider what is the real power of influencer marketing, right? So influencer marketing is the fastest growing marketing channel, which is expected to surpass online advertising by 2020. By online advertising, we mean social media advertising, normal paid ads, and online advertising. Well, in only 2 years, so the moment that I basically started working on influencer marketing, there has been a growth of 170%. And this is why we can consider, as Pascal already said, so numbers are real, that market size by 2021 is expected to reach the $10 billion. And then the average, this is based on more than 2,000 campaigns analyzed by Reach, that the average earned media value per $1 spent on influencer marketing is $5.20. However, if a campaign performs really well, it can even reach $18. Of course, then you have to keep into consideration what the product is, because maybe it's like a luxury product, that in that case, it makes more sense that the EMV is higher. Next slide, please. So some consumers' numbers. So the stats highlight the power of influencer marketing for the consumers, for the influencers' followers, because 61% of people, so people in the social media world, interact with an influencer at least once a day. Consider that the social media users around the globe are about 3 billion. So 61% of 3 billion, make your counts, it's a big number. Then 87% of global shoppers have been prompt to make a purchase based on a recommendation from an influencer. I mean, let's be honest, I work on this field, I know what the back end looks like, but I'm myself many times prompt to buy something that maybe I was thinking already, I was already in the intent phase, but then the influencer made me think about it and eventually I bought it. And then, like also Pascal said, the increase in searches about influencer marketing in Google has increased of 1,500%. So these are numbers that we cannot leave aside. Next slide, please. This is a very short one, but I wanted to mention a little bit because we are in the Western countries and sometimes we forget that Asia is a big market and China is a huge market. And it's really interesting because we are working also in Asia and we have learned so many things working with these influencers and also working with brands there because the way of thinking, it's quite different. And also the way they actually, if you can show the first one, they actually don't call influencers, they call them KOLs, key opinion leaders. And this is how they also communicate to us. So they say, have you found those 10 KOLs that we were looking for? So think about the fact that this implies a very different mindset. It's not only someone who can influence your purchases, but it's someone who can really have their own opinion and pass it on to you, and therefore buy the product. Second, so 29% now focusing on the Chinese market because it's the biggest one in Asia. 21% of Chinese consumers look at KOLs on social media to see what brands or products they are endorsing now. So think about this as an inverse purchase funnel because instead of seeing a product, getting awareness about it, and then thinking about it and then buying, they actually go the other way around. So they already know they want to buy a new pair of jeans, but what pair of jeans should I buy? They go check it to the KOLs. So I think this is one of the most interesting aspects of the Asian market. And then last point is that up to 70% of the marketing budget in China is invested in influencers activation, when it's about 10-20%, it ranges in Western countries. So China, Asia, they have understood that without influencers, they cannot make any marketing plans nowadays. Next slide, please. Like it was already shortly mentioned before, so one of the questions that also I'm often asked by brands, by marketeers, so what is the most strategic channel? Where should I use and involve influencers? Well, of course, Instagram, we all know influencers were born in Instagram, we can say, right? Because it's the type of content that facilitates the kind of communication, the quality, it's easy, it feels different than it would feel on Facebook, for instance, right? And also because of the target audience. Of course, the majority, so the main target audience that most brands want to reach, so between, let's say, 25 and 40 years old, lays there. So that's why 89% of marketers say AIG is important to their influencer strategy. It doesn't come as a surprise that the second one is YouTube, which most of the times is connected, because think about a beauty influencer on Instagram. They most of the times have a huge follower base also on YouTube, because they have all these videos showing how they use the product. I don't know about you, but I bought some years ago, and still Instagram was not that big, but YouTube was already. I bought a straightener, and I didn't know how to use it. So I YouTubed it, and I found one of these instructional video, and it was pretty cool because it looked like everyone was like, did you go to the address? No, I just went to YouTube, so it was pretty cool. And there is several important aspects to consider about Instagram. Why is that big? Why is that important? So next one, please, is first of all, the fast-growing channel in 2019. It was said that 2018 they reached 1 billion subscribers, but they're gonna reach the 2 billion users this year. Then next point, 95 million photos and videos are posted every day. So think about that. That's really an insane number. And I don't know, like a good percentage maybe is mine, maybe it's yours as well, but that's a big number still. Next one. 400 million stories are posted per day. And think that stories have been existing for about 2 years. And still it's huge, the number of stories that nowadays are proposed also by all of us, but also in influencers activation. And last point, well, we all really very much engage with Instagram. We really like it because 4.2 billion posts are liked every day. So next slides, please. we said that, well, everybody has understood the potential of this market. It doesn't come as a surprise. And that's why in the latest 12 months, there has been a growth of 320 new influencers, agencies, and companies, thus reaching almost actually above 700 companies around the world. When we started in 2015, there were only 190 agencies and companies. So think about, like, it's a kind of growth that it's barely seen in any other kind of market. But so, next slide. What are these companies focusing on? Because, okay, everyone sells themselves as be the greatest, but what really differentiates them? What is that they focus on? So the answer is, next slide please, a meaningful strategy and the right technology. Of course you need a great team, a team of experts who can come up with the best strategy based on their experience, knowledge, feedback. But also you need the right technology, which makes you stand out compared to the other agencies or compared to the other companies. And like here I use an image from you can leave it, from our dashboard, how it looks like. We are very much dashboard and platform based. All our campaigns run through the dashboard. And this is why I'm saying that together, meaningful strategy and the right technology can automate execution, in sense that they make the campaign easier also for us as campaign managers, because everything goes via one own place. Then they can improve influencer selection, and in a bit I will tell you how and what to consider when selecting influencers. And then they can impact more than just the top purchase funnel, which is what I said at the beginning, but I will dive more into that in a while. Next slide, please. So another question that I often get is, what to consider when selecting influencers. So I put engagement rate first for a reason, and I'll explain you why. So engagement rate, as most of you may know, is the sum of likes, comments, shares, and clicks divided the number of followers. Well, engagement, we have to be careful with bot behaviors, although Facebook and Instagram have blocked many apps for bot behavior, even in that case, but technology can help us evaluate that as well. For instance, the velocity of engagement. If someone gets suddenly 1,000 or more likes, well then you should dive a bit into that and look what's happening. Is that real? Is there a community? Because you have to know that there are also a community of influencers on WhatsApp or Facebook that tell each other when they're gonna post, and they have to like each other posts. So that also happens. It's not only in Turkey or Brazil that these things happen. Next point, so impressions. Impressions means it represents how many times the content is seen, which sometimes can be a bit tricky because it doesn't tell you the number of people. It tells you how many times it was seen. Let's say that I see, sometimes you scroll on the feed and you see the same post twice, well that counts as 2. Even if the person who saw it is the same. And I put it as second, even though until I would say a year ago, it was considered to be the main KPI. So all the clients that were coming to us, when we were making proposals, we were using impressions as the main KPI. They wanted impressions, okay, impressions, awareness. But since the algorithm on Instagram has changed, impressions and results on impressions have changed a lot. We see that there is not really a specific benchmark. We analyze results and we see that the same kind of profile compared to another one with same amount of followers sometimes, and like could be similar engagement, impression-wise is very different. The next point, and next point also, yes, audience demographics. Well, technology and also the fact that Facebook and Instagram have opened their APIs have allowed us to, well, dive more into what the audience of the influencer looks like. Why this is important? Well, as you may understand, this is important for several reasons. First of all, it allows to target a specific audience. So one of the main goals of influencer marketing is using influencer for authenticity, for the kind of connection that they have with their audience, but also because they are followed by a specific audience. So let's say your campaign is in the UK, well, I'm running that right now actually in the UK, and the audience you want to target is moms. Well, then you want not only mom profiles, but you want people whose demographics are, the main country is in the UK, for instance. And ideally main city London. And then the interest of the demographics are also around parenthood, mom, and so where are they more present? In this case, social media. But audience demographics is also very useful because it can indicate fake followers. Because like I was saying briefly before, well, if you see that the concentration is in Turkey, Brazil, China, well, then it's better to run a few more analyses of that profile because, I don't know, I wouldn't really use that. Then second, the following point, so the followers growth. And next point as well. Yeah, so this is very important. Followers growth can also indicate fake followers. This is why it's very important. This is something I've taken from our own dashboard, but I believe other dashboards might have it as well in different layouts. But it's to explain that every time I select an influencer, I don't only look at their demographics. Okay, this is this pool of influencer, 10 people together, they really can help me reach around, if it's very good, 50% of audience in that country, because above it's very rare. You would have to dive into a niche, let's say. But then I want to see, okay, this profile looks amazing. Let me see the follower growth. So in this case, as you see, the follower growth is quite steady. I mean, she grew, but there is nothing serious to be, or worried to be about. But the thing is that I saw, and then, well, either we deleted these people from our dashboard or we ran further analysis to understand what happened, that we saw a sudden drop, and in one day, well, suddenly they had 10,000 followers more. So, well, in that case, I wouldn't suggest that to the client either. So we would run, like I said, there are several parties that allow to dive more into that and see what is the percentage even of fake followers. And next point, last but not least, is the type of content and language that you need to take into consideration. Of course, you want someone that can represent your brand, can be the ambassador as well of your brand. And also, technology plays a very important role on this nowadays because cognitive computing is allowing now to assess sentiment, tone, interest, passions. You can run sentiment analysis and see more or less what's the response of the followers and how they feel about the influencer's content. Next slide. So let's dive into more now what I meant when I said that the meaningful strategy and right technology can actually impact the whole purchase funnel. So this is the traditional influencer marketing funnel. So influencers are good for creating awareness. Well, that's true. They can create very nice content where they showcase a product. That was a product for dogs, NextGuard, which we ran in Argentina. This one was a campaign we ran in Singapore for 100 plus. It's like an energetic after sport drink. This is a campaign we ran for France and Italy for these towel Akis that can dry your hair beautifully. And in this case, we can say that the KPI is indeed impressions because you want to see how many times the content was seen, but also reach. Because reach represents the unique views. So you want to know also what is the unique number of people who actually saw your post. So next slide. And then traditional, again, after awareness comes consideration. So how was the post seen by the followers? Did they interact with it? Did they engage? Yeah, I love the bottle. Oh my God, I'm so happy that we finally have a drink with more salted water. Amazing. And then, well, did they swipe up? Did they use the link click? Which is part of the engagement, as we mentioned before. But now we have to think differently because technology's innovation allows us to go farther and deeper to the purchase funnel. Next slide. So the first one is something that it's a new tool that Instagram has created, which is embedded in the platform itself. You can click on it, which allows to go through the whole purchase funnel, so intent and purchase. This is an example from H&M, shoppable post. You know, you go to the profile, you see something, it's so easy, and it can make you spend so much money. You click on it, you see how much it costs. So if it's too expensive, you don't even go farther. But if you are, then it's just very easy. We'll open and give you all the samples available, and it will drive you directly to the web shop. And then there is another one. Don't click yet, because I want to ask a question. So how many of you actually, for instance, download their flight boarding cards in their wallet? Nobody? Yeah, let's save paper, right? Let's make the environment better. We don't need paper anymore. So, well, a new technology that can help us implement influencer campaign and make the purchase funnel till the end is, please click, the mobile wallet card, which is something that is being used more and more by brands that we have ourselves implemented in our own service and dashboard. So where can you use the mobile wallet besides influencer and social media? I just want to give you a general idea. Next slide, please. So there are 10 ways you can distribute it. Like we said, via social media, via receipts. For instance, you have a QR code, you scan it, and you get the wallet. Via email, so email marketing, app, website, but also, very cool, in-store or near store. You have a poster, and in the poster outside, like a billboard, you have the QR code or something which is similar to a code that you can just scan, and you will get the wallet, the card in your wallet. Next slide, please. How does the wallet journey looks like? I will also have you experience it in a while, but I want to show you first. So, creation moment. This could be a post directly from the brand or something created by the influencer. The influencer, well, actually, this is a story, include a swipe up in the story. Once the followers swipe up, it's redirected to a page that says, hey, look, this was a campaign we ran for Subway. Hey, look, you have $2 discount on the next sandwich. And then you save it to your wallet and it stays in your wallet. So you have distribution, wallet, and attribution. But what's very important to keep in mind is the retargeting phase. Because you can retarget all those people who have downloaded and saved the wallet in the card in their wallet over a period of time. Let's say the offer lasts for 1 week, then you would maybe send a couple of notifications within that week. But you can also geolocate it. And I will show you an example. Next slide, please. So this is an example of a campaign we ran in Australia for Fossil. I have to say, I will also show you a campaign where we use mobile wallet together with an influencer activation. This was just used, basically the wallet was used by the brand itself. So there were no influencers involved, but the campaign was run in 2 separate time frames in early 2019. And the platform used were Facebook, Instagram, and the content was boosted, so it was amplified with paid media. Next slide, please. So Geo Tags, I was telling you, one of the greatest things about this new technology is that you can geotag, geolocate, geofence, call it how you want, the card. What does it mean? Well, every time that people who have it in their wallet have the discount and walk by a Fossil store, they would get a notification. I mean, I don't know about you, but many times I save things in my wallet that I completely forget. Imagine if passing by a Douglas store, I get $2, €2, we are in Europe, €2 discount. Well, you always find something that you want to buy, right? So that's the perfect excuse. That's the perfect way to kind of bring someone, even if not necessarily to purchase, but to come in and check. In this case, yeah, the text was saying, welcome to the Fossil store when they were walking by. Use Fossil wallet in store to get an extra 20% off, which is pretty cool. Next slide, please. This is what this specific customer journey looked like. So the brand posted on Facebook, this is a Facebook ad, Facebook and Instagram, and they put a paid ad behind it. We reached 350,000 impressions in that case. The card was viewed by 1.67% of the people. What means viewed? Why is this different? Because that's the second step. You swipe up. So how many people actually swipe up and got to see the card? Which is actually very good because the industry average is between 0.5 and 1.5%. So it's pretty low, that's true. Then the card is saved in the mobile wallet. Well, 2.67% saved the card in the wallet of those who viewed it. So that means 1,200, which is a great number. And offer was redeemed by 2.06%. So almost all the people who saved it redeemed it. But why this is great, and then of course you also have a part where the card is deleted. But why this is great? Because these people, the 2.67, you have already 1,200 people that you can retarget again without having to activate a new campaign. Or let's say you activate a new campaign, fine, but then you can reach new people and the old people. People already have it, maybe you already used it. Next slide. And now I just want to compare it with another campaign we ran, which included influencers and mobile wallet. I cannot tell you the name of the brand, but it was an haircare brand in the US. In this case, we had 20 participating mid-tier influencers, which means between, for them it's considered 20K till 80K, depends really on the industry, depends what brands we are talking about. I'm not telling you the brand, but I'm telling you it was with P&G, so their standard, like their tiering is different. Then we had 40 Instagram story posts which went live, out of which we amplified 22. Why 22 and not all of them? Well, because although content was pretty good in general, you just want to amplify the content that really can invite people to swipe up. You want the content that really tells something in a snap, because you scroll, you pass through your stories, and it's something that really has to catch your eye. So we only boosted the ones that we thought were the best. Then consumers who viewed the mobile wallet offer were 11,000. And of these 11,000, 1,200, so almost 11% saved the wallet in their card. And then, well, in terms of verified impression, we reached about 1.1 million including paid content. Next, and I'm about to finish. What happened to the first one? Okay, well, I will tell you anyways. What are the best practices? What did we learn running campaigns with wallet and influencers? So, the type of content and messaging, like I was telling you, is very important. In this very campaign that I'm telling you, the person who, in their story, used the swipe up at the beginning and said, guys, swipe up now to get the offer, she was the one resulting in 70% of the card saves. So content matters. What you say, how you say really matters. Then you need to distribute it by the right influencer to the right audience, like we said before. Check the demographics, check the style. Then it's quite important nowadays to amplify content. I mean, organic can be the best, most amazing content, but we have to be honest. We need, well, this is also how Facebook and Instagram are now built to get some more ad spend. So you need to amplify if you want to see better results. Then, like I said, you can send push notifications, notify your customers, and this way track sales performance, because you can also see how many people redeemed and actually bought your product. And you can re-engage audience with new offer by retargeting them, and then repeat. Last slide. Well, this is my contact details, but I would like to ask you something. So we talked about all this. What is this? Well, let's experience it. If you don't mind, I would ask you to go to TheCirqle Instagram. So at TheCirqle with a Q. And probably you have to swipe a couple of stories, and then you'll get my story with a swipe up. If you swipe up, you'll get a wallet with all my contact details. And I hope, you'll reach out for any questions, doubts, you want to hang out, I can be your friend. I would be happy to. So thank you very much. And I don't know if there are any questions. It's questions moment.
We have room for only one question.
Only one.
Only one question. Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a way to measure conversion that influencers achieved in previous campaigns?
In previous campaigns? You mean in campaigns that were not via us, but other campaigns? Well, it's difficult to try. I mean, if they are willing to share that results, then we can include that and track the performance. But it's like as when they provide us with their authentic metric results. You cannot know, you can know engagement, you can know impression because it's open API, you can get that, or they provide that to you, it depends. But you cannot track the sales on previews, otherwise you would get the results from other brands or other companies. You can track this is why ideally you want longer term relationships with influencers and their brands so that you have multiple activations and then you can really see if there is a growth, if that influencer really gave you some results, and if you want to engage with other different people, then in that case, yes. And that's why I always cherish longer term collaborations because it also feels more authentic.
And we're going to be talking about that in the panel discussion.
Yeah, oh my God.
That you are going to be part of, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to annoy you again, guys, sorry.
Big round of applause for Ilaria.
Thank you.
You're staying.
I
Yes.
stay?